Robots.
I hope so. I strive every day to sound like a robot, so these last few minutes were really just like a bucket list item getting checked off for me.
Yay! I think we're back.
Yayo sound?
Does
okay,
it
good now. Good.
Sound good? Do we sound like robots anymore, or do we sound good?
What if I do a robot voice?
Oh, we should. Oh my god, we should have totally started and been like, "This is such a great stream."
I am a computer. Do your best robot voice, Joe.
No, I can't. I can't now. You've put me on the spot.
Any robot will do. Even like Calculon. It's one of my Calculon's back. Who remembers that?
I don't. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna kill this now. Now we can just read the chat. Everyone's ready. Everyone's ready to hear things
We're
now.
Good. We're
okay,
all good.
So
Everything's good.
We're gonna spend a couple minutes in the beginning to. Oh, by the way, hi. Hello, everyone. We're back. We're gonna remember for the setting for the voice, and we're gonna continue doing it in the future. I was gonna talk about some bugs that popped up in the latest build of the game.
Yeah, what's up with the latest build?
Some things.
Yeah,
some things that are that popped up because of lots of reasons. But
lots of reasons.
The biggest one is the storms thing that people were sort of upset about.
What was that storms issue again?
Everything.
I've heard about the storms.
So basically, anything not nailed down blew away as if you were like in a movie.
Okay.
Like you were in Twister. The F5 comes through when the storm comes through.
Was there a cow that hits the front of the Jeep?
I wish there was a space cow that bounced on the road.
Space cow. Yes. Then we can have space steaks and space beef, space tartare. Sorry,
yes.
I'm distracting everyone.
So that is that's being worked on. I think it's actually fixed. And I don't have any solid details about it, but I can safely say that there will be some fix to that coming quite soon. Thanks, Andrew. There's also a known bug right now with Windows 10 users connecting to Xbox.
Right.
That sometimes you crash.
Yes.
Also being looked at right now.
Actively being investigated.
Yes. There's a couple other ones. Space milk too. They want space milk.
Space milk. Space butter.
Moo as Astro Cow flies past. Yes, exactly.
If in space no one can hear you moo.
We need a timer. We need a timer for every bad Samantha joke.
My nickname at the office is Dad Jokes for Days.
We need a dad joke thing in the top where I just press a button and it goes like bing, dad joke.
Yeah.
Bing.
Just like
dad joke.
Yeah. I like this. I like this plan.
Now there's more there's dad jokes in the chat. Fly
dad
me
jokes
to
for
the
days.
moon.
Trademark.
Yes.
We want a nickel every time someone says it.
Yes. There were also some soundtrack issues, but that was a known bug going in. There's also the really annoying bug of your nodes shooting off on the incorrect path of base building.
Yeah, they are a little bit extra wiggly, those conduits, when you're trying to build your base.
Yes.
That is a bug that's being investigated.
Yes. Okay. So I think that's all the ones I wanted to talk about, but I did want to sort of address them publicly because we knew that those things were happening and we're investigating them currently, while simultaneously working on this thing.
We're working on things.
Yes. So we're working on this thing. Do you want to? Yes, the OCD bug. It drives me absolutely nuts.
Sorry.
Do we want to just get into this experimental thing? Why everyone's here?
Let's talk about it.
Okay, cool.
By the way, hi everyone. If you don't know me or didn't see the awesome video blog that Joe published on Tuesday, I'm Samantha. I'm a technical designer here at Systemera, working on Astroneer. I've been here since April. Hi everyone. It's good to see you in the chat. You can also call me Space Cow Mom. That's okay.
Okay. All right.
That's a non-dad joke that I can roll with.
Okay.
So I'm here joining Joe today because I want to share something that I've been working on with Elijah and many other people at the company, and talk about. So we want to talk about it and show it. It is a gamepad, like a controller controls redesign.
Yes.
For the entire game. So we've been working on this for about 5 weeks, and we have a build. We've been testing it a lot internally. We are preparing an experimental release of this build to all of you.
Yes.
Because we think that we're at this point where we're ready to gather feedback and all of your opinions and your thoughts and feelings about the new gamepad controls.
Yes.
So
what I will say is this is like the start to a sort of program that we're launching, right? Where we are bringing, instead of just waiting until everything is perfectly perfect, we're bringing it to the experiment. We're bringing certain aspects of the experimental branch to have people test them out.
Yeah,
provide feedback.
We want to start. We have an experimental branch on Steam that you can access in the betas tab, and we've been wanting to leverage it for a while. We see it as more of like a sandboxy type space where, you know, your save games are not going to transfer. There may be like the health of the build. There may be more bugs or extra bugs in experimental builds. But we can try to test out some really cool new stuff and give you sneak peeks into what we're working on, and get your feedback sort of without having to, like, while things are still a little bit rougher.
Yes.
Then you know, we don't want to break anyone's game. Like if we push a new feature to, like, in a monthly update or in one of our content updates, we don't want to break the game for people.
Right.
But in experimental, we can test things out and be a little bit more fast.
We can break
with it.
everything.
We can break everything if we wanted to. I mean,
yes.
I like to break things, so.
Yeah.
I don't actually. Why do I say that?
It's something else I wanted to mention before we got started is part of us having this like bigger team now. We're trying to move a little quicker, and in that case, it's sort of like this trade-off where we can be really like careful with everything, and while we're pushing out updates, and you get less stuff, but you get a more polished experience.
Exactly.
And we've sort of turned, not that it's going to be completely unpolished, obviously, but we're moving a little more. We're moving rapidly now.
Yeah.
And not that we weren't before, but
we're picking up the pace.
Yes, and that's going to result in just some unforeseen things.
Yeah, totally.
Like space cows flying around.
Space cows. If we accidentally get space cows because we're growing, I will be so happy. That sounds like a great accident. I mean, what I want to say is that one of the things I really love about System Era is that we are being so open and engaging with the community about the game while it's unfinished. You know, the team has had some really rough setbacks this year. So big successes and big setbacks, and you know, most of the team is on the newer side right now, and so we're still learning how to operate as a team, and we're definitely still like revving our engine toward like full RPMs. And so you get to see all of that, like the good parts and the messy parts. And so the experimental branch and this build that we have today is definitely in like the messier side of that scale.
But fun.
Should we show off what we have?
Yes, let's do it. I know we have a lot of things to talk about. Let me switch over to the game version of the. Oh, there we go. I think I have to click in here. Yeah, nice.
We're good.
Cool.
Okay.
So what suit do you want to pick?
Oh, I'm always partial to the pajama suit.
I love the pajama suit.
But we also, I heard we have some new stuff in the bubble suit.
Well, the bubble suit stuff is from the last, like people already.
So that's not brand new.
Old news.
Okay. So let's do the pajama suit because orange is my color.
Okay.
How's the chat doing so far?
Doing great. Actually, you know what? I'll do this. I'll slide it over, so that way it's a little closer.
Crafting bigger backpacks. That's a great question.
There's so many questions.
We've talked about backpacks.
Yes.
I don't think we have anything to announce, but I'm excited about backpacks.
Well, could we let people in on some of the thoughts around that? Like, is that too early to talk about backpack things?
I don't think. I mean,
we can just talk about hopes and dreams for it.
Conceptually, it's not a problem to talk about anything. I mean, one of the ideas for the game has been that you have the backpack that you can upgrade your backpack.
Yes.
Exactly what shape that takes, we don't really know right now. But that was a good question to tide us over while we landed on our planet.
Yes.
I'm gonna come over to this demo here. So I'm running around. I have a little script here that I'm gonna follow that I wanted to make sure I wanted to show everyone. So the big thing about this build is we've completely reapproached how we're grabbing and interacting with items.
Right.
So the sort of heuristic or the rule that we're trying to follow is that right stick is always move the camera, which was not true before. So I can use a left stick to run around. I can click in the stick to run. So now I can pull out my terrain tool if I press X. And when I do this, I'm going to keep holding the stick but when I press X, you'll see that my character stops. And so then when the left stick control actually changes to the reticle of my terrain tool. So now I can like vacuum up this terrain using the left stick, and I can also move the camera.
Right.
So moving the camera on controller while you have your terrain tool equipped is brand new. So you can like make cool little like hills and carve out little circular little valleys and things like that. And then if I want to move around again, I just have to put away my deform tool.
Right.
Let me go oxygenize myself so that I don't
Yes.
die in the middle of this demo, and then let's get some resources. I figured we just play the game for a little bit and sort of
Yes.
show off a bunch of the new interactions. And then at the end, we'll talk about when we're going to release this
Yes.
for everyone to play.
Which I'm really excited.
I'm very excited about that piece of information.
Gene Pool's like, no, you got to die so people can see the death animations.
Oh, Gene.
Sorry,
we love your
Gene.
death animations. I promise. Okay, so I'm just gonna collect some of these, and so the game feel, like when we talk about like what do designers do, we do a lot of different things, just like programmers do a lot of different kinds of things. Designers are sort of looking at like all the different systems in the game and what feels good. How do we define the feel of it? How do we improve it? I like to take a little bit more of a holistic view of game design, which is, especially since this game was already playable when I joined the company, as I like to really be holistic about like sitting with it, playing with it, spending a lot of time with it, getting to know it, and then starting to ask it questions like, what do you want to be, game? Okay, so here we can get into some new interactions. So right now, this is the concept of active grab. So if I pull the right trigger, then you can see that I can release it and pull it again, and you see this little icon appears. So this is where things work a little bit differently. In previously, if I would have an automatic selector appear, and as soon as I press the right trigger, that would extend. But now I actually get to confirm it by holding the right trigger and pressing A. And so then that expands that thing out. And we get a little bit of our bug freak out that we talked about before.
Oh, it's great. It's beautiful. So
and
there's some questions about,
Yes.
just because I thought these, before we move on.
Yeah.
So number one, yes, this doesn't affect the keyboard and mouse control
This will
scheme.
not affect keyboard and mouse at all.
Yes. And the other question, people were just like, oh, so we can't move while using the terrain tool. Very curious about that.
So that is the current design.
Right.
We have a couple of ideas. So currently in the game, when you're using the gamepad, you can move on the left stick and you can deform on the right stick, but you can't orbit the camera.
Right.
So that gets you into a position where, like, sometimes if the camera angle isn't ideal, you have to put away your deform tool anyway.
Right.
The other piece
Just to
of it, just to be able to move your cursor onto the spot that you wanted. The other piece of it is that, so this eliminates that problem. The other piece of it is that using the right stick, like generally on console games, or when you're playing with a controller, the right stick is sort of always like aim. Like
Yes.
it's very, very closely tied with the camera. And so when we change that interaction paradigm in the existing controller schema, there's something that feels wrong about it.
Yeah, totally.
And we really wanted to address that. So the idea is that, like, cognitively, when I'm moving, if I point the stick up, I run this way, and if I point the stick down, I run this way. And there's a symmetry there to when I have the deform tool equipped, or the terrain tool. If I press up, it moves this way,
Right.
the same way, and if I press down, it moves this way.
Got it.
And so this sort of like mental model of like, what am I moving? Even though I'm moving two different things, they move in the same way, like they follow the same behaviors. There's a symmetry there, which feels kind of nice. It may not look great when you're watching the stream. You get to test it out pretty soon anyway. So
Yes.
really, really curious about what you all think when you play it. But let's move on to showing off some more of these features.
Right, so active grab.
So active grab. So now if I wanted to put this resin, I have 2 resin in my backpack. If I wanted to put this resin on there, I can crack open my backpack or pop it up, pull the right trigger to engage active grab. And then I can press A to pick this up. And while I have the trigger held down, I can put this anywhere. I can put this on slots. I'm continuing to have the trigger held down. And if I release the trigger, then it snaps to my hand. So here I can actually put my backpack away and run around with this in my hand. And at any time, I can then pull the trigger again and go back into like a placement mode.
Interesting.
And so now if I wanted to put that there, I can do that. I can do it like that. And then again, I can pull the right trigger, pop that open, and then if I wanted to do a quick select for this, so like you can see that I can use the left stick to move between these different items that I could interact with.
Yes.
And I have a resin in my backpack now, and so if I wanted to just quickly place a resin there, all I have to do is highlight that hologram and then press the button, and it automatically moves from my backpack.
Right. So you don't necessarily have to crack your backpack open, then find the thing,
exactly.
then drop it on something else.
Exactly.
Right.
It is a streamlined user experience, more streamlined. Okay, so that's a little bit of base building. Let's go find some compound and print something, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Or let's even go find out what's over here in these bouncies. This is a new game, so
yes,
we can have like a random roll, just like every new game.
Someone already commented saying hand, the 14th slot.
So there's a catch to that. That's somewhat true. Let me pull these off. This is a chance for me to show off. I'll come back and address that in just a second.
Mm-hmm.
There's also there's this quick grab as well. So if I want to if I know that I want to put these in my backpack, I can just hold the trigger down and then press the backpack button, which is Y, and that'll just snap it right to my backpack.
Nice.
Right now it goes into the auxiliary slots. That's probably not the ideal behavior that we'd want to release.
Right.
But that's why this is experimental.
Oh, here's our storm.
Here's our storm. So we discovered literally 20 minutes ago.
We'll see if it happens again. Maybe it won't happen.
We have some storm sound effects bugs. I'm going to get killed here. So
just get in the habitat. You'll be fine.
I'm getting the habitat. Okay. So maybe while we're hanging out here, we can talk about that other piece. What was that other piece again that we're going to come back to?
Oh, not being able to move.
Not being able to move. Yes.
Well, you were just explaining it kind of. That's all.
I thought there was something else that came up.
Someone asked about, is this going to be Steam controller compliant? I don't know.
So there's some more research we have to do around the Steam controller.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely want to consider this Gamepad refactor for both PC and Xbox players.
Yes.
And so Xbox players in particular won't be able to use a Steam controller on their console.
Okay.
So we need to make it work with the Xbox controller first. The Steam controller is probably like a special case because it can emulate keyboard and mouse, or it can act as a gamepad.
Right.
So we have some more decisions to make around what's the ideal design there.
Right.
It
Because
probably
it's got the haptic input, and that can like
exactly.
Yeah.
It also has like the Steam controller just has this nice big touchpad, which kind of acts like a mouse. So we may actually want to use more traditional keyboard and mouse controls for the Steam controller in particular.
Yes.
Okay, is it safe? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's safe.
Okay, let's go.
The habitat door always stays open. That's one of my things that I would love to see not happen anymore, because it throws me off. I want to be in there and be like safe and cozy. I want to see my little Asheneer's face peeking through the like glass.
Let's pull up some of this compound. There was another piece. I feel like I'm forgetting a question that somebody asked, or a detail that we were going to talk about. Oh, the extra slot.
Yes. Oh, right.
So here's the catch. Let me come back to get some oxygen. So here's the catch, and here's why the hand is not actually an extra slot. If I'm holding something in my hand, if I press the deform tool button,
right,
the deform tool does not come out.
It doesn't like that.
So if my Astroneer's hand is full holding something, that hand is not available to use the deform tool. So you have to have your hand empty when you want to deform.
Right.
So
it's a trade-off.
That's a trade-off. It gives you all some choices to make around, like, okay, do I want to grab this thing, and will I have to use the deform tool on my way back, or what do I do with it? Okay, there are a couple of other behaviors I want to show off about like this active grab. First thing is we're starting to introduce B button, which currently does
Someone
nothing.
just asked about that, so that's great.
So right now, if I press B, this will just drop the compound where I'm standing. Same as if I pick it up. If I press either here, so like here, if I tried to put this, no, that's not going to slot, I don't think. If I try to slot this compound onto here, if I press A right now, then that will slot this item into that slot. But if I press B, it just falls. So you have a little bit more control around what are you grabbing, or when you're placing things, are you slotting them, or are you just dropping them?
Right, putting them in a place that you want them to be, and then just dropping it there.
If I wanted to like dig a resource hole, then I could pick this thing up and I can drop it.
We need developer mode for spawning stuff. We have that, but we just didn't want to do that.
That's for developers only. Sorry.
That's secret.
We are showing off a build that does not have those developer tools engaged. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I can drop that in there. I can then fill it up if I want to. Top tier techniques. Let's print this thing. So now the printer, if I wanted to print some tethers, again, I have, so this is not a final graphic design scheme,
right?
But using the sort of existing indicators, I can cycle through these different things to print.
You would imagine that just the arrow would just like change a color.
We want to validate the ideas behind this design first, and then we can really put it through a lot of polish paths to make it look nice, and make it integrate really tightly with everything else in the game.
Right.
And then so I can move this indicator around with the left stick. And I can select the print button and then print the thing with the A button.
Awesome. So there's a pretty good question that I want to bring up really quickly. So the first sort of like thing that people are saying right now is like, oh man, now like controller has like an advantage. But technically, this is sort of making up for the fact that with mouse, when you grab something and it's like in its state while you're moving, you're technically holding it. It's not in your hand,
right?
But it's like up in the air.
So let's actually test this side by side. Let me run over here. Here's a research chest. I'm going to show you this behavior that was one of the first reasons I wanted to revisit the controller. So here, if I dig out this tree and I drop this research chest, so much of our game loop is about acquiring research. So here, I can run up here, and can I grab that thing?
Of course, it's not going to fall
I can
now.
grab that thing.
Oh, there it goes.
So now I'm holding this, and I'm just going to drop this on the ground real quick. So I'm going to move over to mouse just briefly. If I reach over here and I turn on the mouse control, if I click this, now I'm moving the mouse around to move the research around. And if I walk with WASD, I do this painfully slow sort of walking thing. And I don't get to really, like, I can turn my character, but like there's something that feels really slow and awkward about this entire mode of interacting.
Because it also controls the camera.
It also controls the camera. It's weird. So what I'm proposing and what is active in this prototype is in the gamepad, if I press A and I need to run back to that base before I suffocate to death, I can actually just put that in my hand, and then I have full run speed re-enabled, although I'm suffocating now. So
you're slowing down.
Am I gonna make it?
You're gonna be fine.
Am I gonna make it?
It's a little jump, a couple little jumps.
Did it. Nailed it. Sorry, Gene.
No death animations.
So this may have gone a little bit quickly because I don't know if maybe I should repeat that. Like if I drop, so this research with this prototype, the behavior of holding something in your hand, we get to escape this sort of like slower mode of transportation.
Yes.
If I pick this thing up, I can still place it around like I did, but now I can release the trigger to have it in my hand. And instead of having this slow, arduous movement, I can just have it in my hand and run around at full speed. So this will actually make the task in this prototype. This makes the task of bringing research back to your base much quicker.
Yes, and so people are saying that visually it looks weird. Yes, of course, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it is not like this does not look right.
No,
like this does not look right. Like my Astroneer's inside this research chest. And
right, you're hiding in it.
This is one of the things that we talk about when we say like we're gonna ship something that's a little bit rougher to experimental because it's got some rough edges. Okay, so let's shelve this and let's talk about tethers. So right now in the game, in the live, in the main version.
So they're offering suggestions to make that thing look better. I think there's lots of good suggestions for it. People are talking about it sort of hovering next to you, or you being able to attach it to a thing on your backpack, and it
totally.
So once this
These are great ideas.
Once this thing is validated, then we will figure out how to visually represent this state.
Yes. I think that this prototype explores an idea for mitigating the awkwardness of like logistics. So like moving a thing that's big and heavy can and should be a logistical challenge.
Yes, of
that
course.
that logistical challenge that's in the live game is not great.
Right.
So how would it feel if we remove that challenge just for the purposes of this prototype?
Right.
Once we vetted these ideas, we can revisit this challenge of logistics.
Of course.
At a much larger scale. So like I want to answer questions about like, what if I want to move my entire base? Like how would I logistically do that?
Right.
And we would probably need some new sorts of utilities, tools, and systems to facilitate that.
Yes.
And this prototype has opened the door for us to explore, like to start having those conversations. Okay.
So I don't think in the 1.0 version of the game you're going to be able to carry a research chest, but
Probably not.
But there will be other avenues that you will be able to explore in order to carry those way more efficiently and like.
Yeah, we don't know
have fun
exactly.
with it.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what shape that will take, but we definitely want to make this like logistical problem solving a big part of the game.
Yes. And
Okay.
rewarding and fun.
And rewarding and fun and feel like you're progressing and leveling up and all that good stuff.
Yes.
We want all of this for the game. Okay, so let's talk about tethers. We ready to talk about tethers?
Please.
So right now in the live game, you invoke tethers with the down arrow.
Yes.
So
Down
we
on the
didn't
D-pad.
change that. We didn't change that. So if I press down on the D-pad, I don't have any tethers.
You gotta make tethers.
I thought I made a solar, not tethers. What's wrong with me? Let's go find some more compound. Where did my compound go? Now I'm very embarrassed. I thought that I had already made some tethers.
It's okay.
Is it?
It's fine.
I feel like I've screwed up forever and I can never recover from this.
I will let the chat decide that.
Chat, am I dead to you? Please say no. Please say no. Let me be your candy eating queen.
Someone.
There's no compound. Someone what?
So someone's talking about the rover thing. Yeah. Oh, they're saying I have to pay respects. They thought you were gonna die. That's funny. No candy for you.
No candy for me. But we have these Myconikes.
We do have some.
Oh, I bit your Myconikes.
No, they're not mine. They're yours.
Oh, they're mine? All right. That sounds good.
Or do we just take Gene's Myconikes? Gene,
I think we might have just taken
I didn't know
Gene's
if you were
Myconikes.
offering those to us before or if you were telling us that you had Myconikes. Now I feel bad. And so you should come and retrieve your Myconikes now.
Come and eat Myconikes with us, Gene. Okay, let's make some frickin' tethers. Jump over that resource hole. All right.
Oh, Good and Plenty is the worst.
What?
Myconike is so good. Good and Plenty is ew. Gross.
Gross.
Okay, so you're making some tethers
Where-
using the... There we go.
Okay, there we go. Okay. There's still a little bit of finickiness to this.
Yes. But that's sort of the point
It's
right now,
a little
right?
bit rough.
Yes.
Yes, we're letting it be a little bit rough. Okay, so let's play some tethers. If I press the down on the D-pad, now instead of just going right into this placement mode, which is what currently happens, I can hold this tether in my hand. And we've streamlined this in a pretty cool way. So if I run out here and I just press the down D-pad again, boom, and I've got another tether in my hand.
Oh,
Boom.
nice.
So I can just run and place and run and place and run and place and run and place. Say it with me. Run and place and run and place and run and place and run
Nice.
and place. And this is my last tether. And I need to make more tethers. But that, like, look at how easy that was.
Yeah, that was cool.
I'm pretty pleased with this. Huge props to Elijah for getting his hands real dirty with that code that drove the old behavior and refactoring it to make this new behavior work in a really seamless way. Really, really good stuff. This is like a way, this new system of placing tethers with this handedness prototype or the active grab prototype is like, the game is getting out of the way of you doing the thing that you want to do.
Right.
I can also grab any of these individually and move and reposition them, or put them into my backpack and create a new tether bundle.
Awesome.
With the same like quick buttons, like hold right trigger, press the backpack button.
Right.
And I can hold most anything in my hand. So like if I pick up this solar panel, now I've just got the solar in my hand.
They were asking what button were you pressing. Still the same button.
Same
Still the
button,
down button. It just has,
D-pad down.
it's a little more flexible now.
Cool. Let's go into a cave. Let's see a death animation. And then let's look at like a larger scene that we had pre-set up and
Yes.
see how far we get. So I'm basically going to go on a death run through this cave just because I want to see what all's going on in here and try to take on some toxic plants.
Have to pay your respects. There's one right there, a little gas bag.
Come here. I'll get you. Oh God.
Oh, you're dead.
I'm dying. If you run away from the gas quick enough, it won't kill you.
Otab Sam, I'm going to address that in a little bit. I see your question, and I think it's an important one, but we're going to wait. Oh gosh, you just got spiked.
I'm getting spiked. I'm suffocating and bleeding to death.
Rip.
Rest in peace, me. Death by plant flatulence. That's a good one. Okay, shall we load up a different save?
Yes.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I want to address this.
Yeah.
So, maybe this seems critical, but critical of us, but it's okay. I think it's totally fine to address. So Atab Sam Zero says, I'm not going to lie, it's very interesting to see you address all sorts of problems like controller behavior and other stuff. But it feels like these are not the bottleneck of this game. It's missing other stuff like late game content, reason to go to other planets, base building automation. Looking forward to that being addressed. Keep up the good work. So I do think...
It's not wrong.
He's definitely not wrong. They're all saying F to pay your respects because you're dead. Hold on, I'm not in the chat. So what I will say to that is, at least, and maybe you can give me a better perspective, but from my perspective, it seems like these were sort of like, while we're working on large, like this happening doesn't mean that other things are not happening, right? Like,
that's true.
The controller prototype and Gene working on animations and some of these easier to swallow things are happening while simultaneously Zabir's back there working on Terrain 2.0 and Elijah's already starting to think about other things that he's going to work on. And
we've been spinning up research 2.0.
Right, exactly. So what I will say is all of this stuff is happening simultaneously. There are things that have happened quicker, which is why we're rolling them out. And also the other thing I would say about this is some of these things are base level things that we're going to use to build on in the future.
Exactly.
So
exactly. I will reiterate all of that while we load a new save.
Yes.
So one of the things that I'm really happy about being part of this team and part of this process of sharing our work so publicly is that we get to inform people that are interested in games and interested in making games, maybe aspiring developers, about what it's really like to make games. So late game content is a kind of production challenge that is what's called content heavy. So that's something, content production is something that happens when, by and large, all the other largest building blocks of the game are in place,
right,
and no longer changing. The reason we started with the controls now is I think that there are some players who do believe that, for one thing, that the controls as they are work against the game.
Right.
And so having a better control scheme will make the game better from start to finish. And it's one of those sort of precursor building blocks, or one of those like prerequisites to, like, we can have a bunch of content that if we don't have a good way to interact with it won't be enjoyable anyway. That's
what I meant to say, but
yeah.
you would bring this up when we would talk about other features, and you'd say, well, the controller stuff is really going to influence decision making going forward, because you'll know what's possible, what's not in the scheme, and then you can make solid decisions based on that.
And we've learned, like, part of this prototype has revealed new verbs for us in how we will, like, so okay, I'll just be literal about it. We had one sort of interaction, like picking things up and putting things down was like the verb, and then we had another button for getting in and out of vehicles. We had, like, you could use that same interaction to click on a button to, like, launch a ship or blow up dynamite or whatever. But what we revealed now is that we actually have 3 different verbs that are player actions that they should be able to do with any object, or objects should support. And those are grab or use, or a third one which we've identified and we're starting to do some conceptual design on is examine.
Right.
And so these three verbs, like when we think about any object that can be grabbed or used or examined, what is how do all these different objects support all of those actions? And by having laid that groundwork, like we identified these verbs through this process.
Right.
And so now we're starting to revisit, like, okay, well, to grab dynamite means picking it up. To use dynamite means triggering it to explode.
Right.
And that opens the possibility space in a very sort of like known quantity for us. Like, it puts the pieces in place for us to build out the rest of the game content.
Yes.
The rest of the game systems and content. So like Research 2.0 is probably going to require using and grabbing and examining.
Right.
And we know that now, and we can design for that.
Right. So instead of just seeing all your research things, just say unknown on them.
Exactly.
Eventually you'll be able to grab them and then like do something to it in order to then examine it. And then, yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
They want us to see.
They're ready.
They want to play this. They want us to play this. This is a development. This is a development
so
save.
excited.
This is a development save. This is an old save from back when we still had a bug in the game where things were floating.
Yes.
So there's maybe one or two items that you're going to see that are like a little bit airborne. I promise you will not get this behavior in the game, but this is kind of an extra treat for you to see as the experimental build.
Most people are actually going to be like, why doesn't my game look like this?
There we go. Oh, no, I just saved the game. So, okay, so we got a couple things. We got
a
yeah, couple zebra balls.
I guess we're going to have to address that too.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, we're just not going to say anything.
Grab this thing, can move that around, drop it.
So this is what I'll explain is this was your test bed to this is the worst case scenario.
This is the worst case scenario. Like, look at the density of these objects. So like when I pull the trigger, you can see all these different things are lighting up as a grabbable object.
Yes.
And so being able to navigate with the left stick intentionally, like from here I can go to that big research or back to the copper,
right,
or up to that zebra ball.
Yes.
And I can navigate between them intentionally. And that is a key part of making the control, like improving the controls on Gamepad.
Totally. Imagine trying to do this with the virtual cursor and trying to just pinpoint something that's over there. It's
exactly
very hard.
Exactly. So if I grab this dead astroneer, if I pop that up, I can actually close this with B, and then we'll see that that B, that's another opportunity for B to act as like what players come to expect from their buttons of like A moving forward and B moving backward.
B cancels everything, or undo action, whatever.
I was gonna show. Do we have any fans of the zebra ball?
There's already people saying tiny zebra balls, tiny zebra balls.
So look what happens when I grab this zebra ball.
Oh, you're suffocating. You're dying.
It made me suffocate. Never grab the small zebra balls. Speaking of small things, I found a battery. I don't know if you noticed that we have a gigantic battery happening over here.
It's this is the battery. This is right now we have what, medium battery and then large battery.
Yeah, this is probably a medium battery.
Yeah. I would say that seems accurate. Oh my god!
I wonder if I can grab this thing. I bet you I can grab this battery.
Oh my goodness!
Should we grab this thing?
Are you gonna put it into active grab and then hold it and then have it take over your body?
I'm gonna try. It might resize. Oh! Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Oh. Now it's tiny again.
All hail the bat. Well, tiny. It's tiny. It's still bigger than me. So this is just a kind of funny insight into all the bugs that can happen when you're making games.
Yes.
All the silly shit.
Veronica says you ruined my battery. It's okay.
What else can I show you here?
That's the Stay Puffed battery. Yeah, that totally is.
Let me make sure. Oh, there's one other thing I want to show you, which is that we made an improvement to when you have your backpack popped up. Right now, if I press the deform tool, it pops out the deform tool. Right. So this is a way to use the to attach objects to the deform tool. Augments, take things on and off.
Work lights.
Work lights, exactly. So
someone said you should make a battery that big though.
We should make a battery that big.
Planet-sized
awesome.
battery.
Planetary. Blanet?
The
Badlanet? No.
planetary.
Planetary.
Okay.
Planetary Banetary. Batonary.
Yes, massive
Planetary
work lights.
Batonary. Massive work lights.
What are the black and white spheres? Everyone should tell Woody TV what the black and white spheres are, and how we pray to them every night before we lay our astro heads to sleep.
Okay, Blatnet. I like it.
Okay.
Blatnet. Okay, so let me just make sure. Let me just run through my little list of things
Please.
that I wanted to show off to everyone before we move on to the next piece of information, which is when can y'all play this build?
Yes.
Okay, so movement on the left stick, camera on the right stick, right trigger to engage the active grab, left stick to select the grabbable items. Yeah, again, you know, like right trigger pull is always like, whoa, that's a cool thing.
Wait. Oh, actually, so
What? Yeah.
something I asked you in the vlog, but probably is important to mention, is that the virtual cursor that you used to use for everything, it's not gone completely.
It's not gone.
Right.
So we found that the virtual cursor was most useful when you are actively placing an item somewhere, but it's not useful if on controller if you're picking something up,
Right.
or if you are just trying to transport something.
Totally.
So what we have is we have this, you know, this active grab to pick something up. And then as long as I have the right trigger held now, so after I've picked something up, now this is the old virtual cursor.
Yes.
And this is the old placing behavior.
Yeah.
And
so
I'm in this mode because I'm holding down that trigger. If I release the trigger, then I'm back into a holding mode. So if I pull that trigger again, then I go into a placing mode.
Awesome.
So the right trigger basically becomes kind of a clutch about like, oh, well, I want to like engage with picking something up or placing something down. And if I'm not, then I don't have to think about it. And I can just run around and be comfortable, let my hand relax. And then like, oh, I want to pick up this small battery. It's like, oh, or I want to go place this.
That's a pretty big battery.
That is a battery. I will place this thing on my backpack and just press the backpack button, and then I can relax my hand again.
Awesome.
So we tried to make a bunch of really streamlined things. Okay, so I need to just quickly make sure that didn't want to show anything else. Are there any questions from the chat that we should address?
Well, there's lots of questions. I'll answer this one because I saw many people asking it. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but it's important, I think. Dedicated servers. We have the headless server that's running right now. We still have a lot of work to figure out who our partner is going to be, and persistence, and how you're going to be able to bring your stuff that you have for your Astroneer into different servers. But in any case, right now you can run an instance, or we can run an instance here that allows us to test those things. So dedicated servers are not out yet, but we're making steps towards making that happen.
Oh, and someone is also saying that they want us to allow rebinding.
Yes.
Which, yes, we do want to allow you to set up your own bindings.
Yes.
But we need to get the verbs working first. Because the idea of change, like we don't want to thrash it too much where if we're like, hey, we're here's these 3 buttons to rebind, then like, oh, we changed to 2 and one of them's a long press, then like we don't want to do that. But we will do rebinding. I am happy to commit to that.
Yes. And the other thing about it right now is that you can do some medium, like you can do some small rebinding, but in the current state, none of those changes stay like after you load a save, and then
Yeah.
So that's a little frustrating.
That's one of the things that we need to address and fix before early access is over.
Yes.
All right. So
I have to pay respects, you're dead. Oh, people are asking about
I've just
ammonium.
received confirmation that this build, this experimental build, is live now on Steam for all of you. And to celebrate, I'm gonna blow up this dynamite.
Boom.
That destroyed
Rip.
most of the planet.
Okay, yes. So the experimental build is going live. Let's reiterate.
The experimental build is live right now.
So you can go on Steam and download it. The only other things I think we need to address are
well, how do they download it?
You should just be able to go to Steam and then
go to Steam. You right click on Astroneer.
Yes.
You go to Properties. Then you hit the Betas tab.
Yes.
In that drop down on the Betas tab, you should see an option that says Experimental. Click that drop down. Hit that Experimental. and then hit play, it'll download this experimental build. Your saves will not transfer. And then you can jump in and you can try this out.
Yes.
This is a buggy build. We would love your feedback about what you think about the gamepad. If you are not planning on playing with gamepad, then please be aware that the mouse and keyboard controls are not changed. So
yes.
all of the active grab functionality is exclusive to gamepad for this prototype.
Right. And then the other thing I want to mention is we have a survey that we've created.
Yes.
It's a Google survey,
Yes.
and we're going to be sending that out with the communications about this launch.
Yes.
And if you're interested in offering feedback, if you want to talk about things that you like or don't like about the current scheme or the scheme in this experimental branch, we'd love for you to fill that out and give us some feedback and information.
Yes, we would love, love, love for you to fill out the survey. Let us know what you think. We will have... we will probably do a couple of surveys as we learn about what you think about this prototype, so that we can really commit to the best decision for revisiting the controls for the game. And that survey is one of the best ways to tell us. Also, anywhere else that we're engaged socially.
Yes, I mean,
we'll be listening.
Well, I will have my ears open everywhere to hear the feedback, even if you don't necessarily want to fill the survey, but the survey would be great.
Survey would be number one choice.
Yes.
Secondary choice is, tell us on the forum, tell us on Reddit, tell us on Twitter,
us, anything.
Email us. You can tweet at me. I'm at Samantha0, the word ZERO. I can't, if I get flooded, I can't promise to reply to everybody, but
Yes.
we are reading everything, even if we're not responding. So it is not going into a hole to die. It is not a resource hole.
Yes.
It is going into our ear holes.
So people are saying that it's not ready yet. I would refire up Steam.
You need to, okay, so after you switch to the build, you have to right click on Steam in the taskbar, exit Steam.
Yes.
Not just close it, you have to actually exit it and then relaunch it.
Yes.
That's a bug in Steam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ammonium, we can't say anything about Ammonium.
Ammonium was not ready to share. It was a bug that it got shipped. There's something that we're working on with Ammonium. It will do something in the future.
Yes. It's a secret. Anything else that we want to cover for now? I think we're okay.
Should we post a link to the survey in the chat?
Sure.
Can we do that?
Absolutely,
Okay.
we can.
1.6 gigs, huh? That's a big ol' update. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has warmly welcomed me in the community, who has made nice comments on YouTube and has tweeted at me and retweeted anything I'm talking about the game on social media. I think it's really cool to be part of this project and part of this team, and I'm doing the best. I think that I'm doing some of my best work as a designer and implementing some of these things and working with people. I am happy to be working on a game that y'all love so much, and acknowledge that this is something that you all care about passionately, and I want to make this game the best game it can possibly be for all players.
Yes. I'm excited for where everything is going. I guess the only thing we have to say about this is we talked about this in the vlog, which you should go watch, and I'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah.
But
the link to the survey is posted in chat.
Yes, it's that bit.ly link down there. There will be other experimental tests that we're going to roll out. One of the next ones. Oh,
Well,
actually, we can't say.
We shouldn't spoil it.
We won't say
spoil
anything.
it. But we have another experimental build in progress.
Yes.
That we will be ready to talk about in the near future.
Yes, we're super excited about that.
We've been working hard, y'all. That's one of the things about video games is it takes so long to do some small things that it's not always clear that what we're working on. So we're working on a lot of cool stuff, and we're really trying hard to get up to speed a little bit faster and get some builds out to everyone more. And I hope. I mean, I've been happy to see the team shipping a content update every month, and that's going to continue.
Okay, I think we're good.
Are we good?
I think we're done.
This prototype will not be on Xbox One. It's only on Steam Experimental Branch.
Yes. So we're trying to figure out ways to, we're trying to figure out ways to provide some of this experimental stuff to the Xbox player base. We haven't fully sorted that out yet, but when we do, I would like to do that because I think it would be great for everyone to get to try this stuff out. So no details on that yet, but we're working on it. Okay, cool. That's it.
Play the build. Let
Stream's
us know what
over.
you think.
Look at
We're
that.
going to have a shorter stream today.
We did we did a full hour. We're good.
We did an hour. Well, we had like 20 minutes of Barry White nonsense.
We did. That's okay.
Wait. Stream's not over until there's candy.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much for watching the stream. We really appreciate you being here. If you haven't already, you should follow us on Twitch. You should follow us on Twitter. You should follow us on Facebook. We have a Discord that you can hang out in and get live help from people. There's lots of cool things, cool ways to connect with us, and you should do that. We talked a little bit about bigger backpacks, but we don't have any more details. Sorry.
Backpack plans are still at the concepting phase.
Space cows soon.
Space cows are already in there. What are you talking about?
That's true. They are. It's a secret.
Moo.
Okay, there you go. There's the Discord link. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching the stream, and we will see you all next time. Bye.